present an analysis of a bait from Sur Leela Chanesar of Shah Abdul Latif Bhittai and its linguistic and philosophical aspects and different dimensions. To koti, to dohi, to dhiki kis dhar. You called me, accused me, and cast me away. Pai raya patra mein sobhiya singar. The adornments of the successful or one victorious queen now live scattered upon the floor. Mani muthya jelium high with the Sahara. Oh friends, the jewels have ensnared me. Alas, I put on the necklace. Dostanu dur kes in a kude av kunhar. Through this false, errant self, I made the beloved distant. Aya aibdar sikanthi swag ke. I am at fault and long for swag, the beloved's marital union. So this is very much beautiful bait from Sur Leela Chanesar, focusing on the argument and thesis of Leela and all the aspects of her situation. So Leela Chanesar is one of Shah Abdul Latif Bhittai's major narrative source. And this story, as you know, revolves among three persons, Leela, Chanesar and Kauru, and the main bone of contention is the necklace or the material resource. The Leela Chanesar narrative becomes a vehicle for examining desire, attachment, pride, loss, repentance, and recovery of love. Central idea of the bait. The whole bait can be understood through one fundamental opposition, Suhag and Singar, adornment and beloved. Leela discovers that the thing she valued as an ornament has become the cause of separation from the person she actually loves. Thus, the philosophical movement is मादी ख्वाहिश, गलती, जुदाई, खुदशनासी, निदामत, सिक, विसाल दी ख्वाहिश. This is the deepest dramatic movement of the Beth. Material desire, mistake, separation, self-realization, repentance, longing, and the desire for meeting. Linguistic analysis of this Beth will be the Beth contains several interconnected semantic fields as word kothe is verb and conceptual significance is calling, summoning, dohe, accusation, blaming or stopping, guilt and moral relation, dhikedhar, forceful separation, throwing away or rejection. Singar is noun and its beauty, adornment, status. Maniyu is noun, material wealth and value. Har is noun, ornament and symbiotic temptation. Dostanyu dur, relational expression, separation from beloved. Aibdar, it is an adjective, self-recognition and guilt. Sikh is emotional, spiritual noun or verb. Sikh is a noun of self. Sikh is a noun and it's longing. So Suhag is culturally loaded noun, material happiness, beloved's love and union. The remarkable feature is that material vocabulary gradually gives way to relational and spiritual vocabulary. At first, we encounter Maniyu, Har, and Singar. At the end, we see Aib, Sikh, and Suhag. The lexical transformation itself communicates Leela's psychological transformation. Semantic analysis of this breath will be that Maniye Muthyas. One of the most significant expression is Maniye Muthyas Jelu. The important semantic tension is between Muthyas and Maniyu. The jewel appear externally beautiful, but the verb makes the psychologically dangerous. Leela is effectively caught, seized, or overcome by the jewels. Thus, the grammatical relationship produces a powerful paradox. The woman who thinks she possesses the jewels is actually possessed by them. So that is again the story of possessiveness. Possessing the jewels, possessing the material things. Actually, one does not know that those things are possessing him or her. This reverts the normal relationship between subject and the object. Philosophical implication, material possession appears to be I possess the object. But Shah's poetic logic reveals the object possesses me. This makes the necklace a metaphor of attachment. पई रहा पत्र में. It means the image of the ornaments lying on the ground is crucial. And in this way, prestige plus beauty plus social status is Singar. And she now, after the Chanesa separation, all of those ornaments are lying at the ground and they are meaningless for Leela. Discarded objects. There is therefore a semantical reversal. The external ornaments have lost power because the relationship with the beloved has been damaged. The special moment is also meaningful. The once glorious Leela is symbolically brought down from social and aesthetic elevation to the ground. To kothe, to dohi, to dhikki. This sequence deserves particular attention. To kothe, to dohe, to dhikki kis dhar. There is an accumulation of verbal actions, 3 stages. Kothan, kothe, it means summoning, invitation, calling. Dohe, by accusing, by stopping. Dhikke dhar karan, expulsion, separation or throwing away. The syntax therefore creates a dramatic progression from contact to the judgment to the separation. This is almost cinematic in the involvement. The repetition of to also creates an accusatory rhythm. The beloved's presence dominates the sentence grammatically, while Leela becomes the recipient of the action. First person confession. The final lines dramatically change grammatical perspective. Aya aibdar sikanthi sohag ke. Earlier the emphasis is on to. To kothe, to dohe, to dhike kisdar. But at the end, aya aibdar sikanthi sohag ke. So this grammatical center shifts from the beloved's actions to Leela's self-awareness. Now Leela is very much aware about her own fault. And before that, she was addressing to the beloved with an accusative tone of to. And now she has realized that actual mistake was done by herself. So this is psychologically significant. At first, you did this to me. Eventually, I am at fault. That is the turning point in human life, in softness and tenderness and fluctuation of the behavior. That is the moment of moral awakening. And by reaching that stage, one enjoys the great motivational power of the repo. Aya Abdar, philosophy of self-recognition. This is more than an admission of guilt. It represents self-recognition. Leela does not merely complain about separation. She recognizes her own role in the producing it. This creates a philosophical distinction between blame, someone else caused my suffering, and self-knowledge. I am I must understand my own action and desire. The second is much closer to the ethical and Sufi dimensions of Shah Latif's poetry. Sikanthi Suhag, the philosophy of longing. The concluding phrase is Sikanthi Suhag. The word Sikh is crucial to Shah's poetic universe. It is not simply missing someone. It can signify a powerful state of longing in which separation itself intensifies awareness of the beloved. The structure is therefore loss, longing, and awareness of value. So it is very much necessary and pertinent to human life that when we face any loss, when we observe any loss, then we enter into the phase of longing, and after extensive longing, we become aware of the value of that thing which we have been lost away. This produces one of the central philosophical paradox of the Beth. Presence is often presence is often understood through absence. Philosophical opposition, possession versus relationship. The Beth established two competing value systems: material value and relational value. Material value contains jewels, necklace, adornment, prestige, and beauty. A relational value contains beloved, companionship, material union, love, and longing. Leela initially chooses the first. After the loss and separation of Chanesar, she recognizes the superiority of the second. Hence, the philosophical equation is Mohabbat, Maniyu is lesser than the Mohabbat. Singar is lesser than the Sohag. Possession is lesser than the relationship. This is why the necklace becomes much more than a physical object. Sufi interpretation of this Beth can be that a story also read allegorically in a Sufi reading. Leela is seeker, Chanesar is beloved, Har is worldly attachment, Maniyu is seductive, material values, Judai is spiritual distance, and Aibajo Etraf, Aibdar Hujan, self knowledge, Sikh is longing for beloved, Swag, union, or nearness. Psychological interpretation of this Beth can also be read through contemporary psychology. Stage 1 is desire. Leela is attracted to the necklace. That is her desire. She desired that necklace should be in her possession. And then comes stage 2, that was misjudgment. The object becomes more important than the relationship, and she replaces Chanesar with that necklace, and the object becomes more important than the relationship. And then comes the third stage, and that is consequence. And the beloved withdraws, and separation occurs. Then comes fourth stage, and that is cognitive realization. The external object is revealed as insignificant. And stage fifth is guilt, aya, aibdar. Then sixth, longing, sikanthi, swag. This is essentially movement from object-centered desire to relationship-centered consciousness. Feminist and gender reading. A modern reading should avoid reducing Leela simply to the guilty women. She possesses considerable agency in the narrative. She desires, chooses, acts, suffers, and eventually acknowledges responsibility. Academic research specifically identifies her freedom of movement and agency, while also criticizing the misuse of that freedom within the narrative's moral framework. At the same time, the story operates within a social world where female honor, material fidelity, and suhag are strongly valued. Therefore, two readings can coexist. Traditional technical reading, Leela's error is her preference for material adornment over marital fidelity. Modern critical reading, the story also raises questions about female agency, social expectations, and power structures governing marriage. Aesthetic of pain. The concluding Sikh transforms suffering into poetry. The separation is painful, but Shah makes that pain aesthetically and philosophically productive. The pain teaches Leela what possession could not teach her, separation teaches her. That is the lesson of this, that aesthetics of pain are very much abundant in poetry of Shah Abdul Latif. Dramatic technique, the Beth is also remarkable as dramatic poetry. Leela is not merely described by an external narrator, her emotional consciousness becomes audible, genuine. The address to her companions transforms private guilt into a public confession. Major philosophical themes of this Beth are materialism, objects can become substitutes for authentic human values. Second is attachment, possession becomes dangerous when the possessor becomes possessed by the object. Self-knowledge, recognition of one's own fault is beginning of transformation. Responsibility, true repentance requires recognition of one's own agency. Love, love is presented as relational rather than material. Separation, distance reveals the value of presence. Longing or sick becomes a transformative force. Spirituality, the human beloved can function as symbolic gateway to the divine beloved. Contemporary relevance of this faith will be to the modern society very pertinent we are living in consumer society. Money can be compared with the contemporary obsession with luxury, brands, and status. Social media, external presentation can become more important than genuine relationship. Status culture, people may sacrifice relationships for prestige. Relationships, transactional thinking can turn human beings into commodities. Personal growth, the movement from who caused my suffering to what was my own role. So it becomes self-analysis and self-accountable attitude in human life remains a powerful model of ethical self-realization. Core interpretation of this faith is Leela discovers that the ornament she desired has become the symbol of what she lost. The har initially represents beauty and acquisition. After separation, it represents error. Then it becomes an instrument of self knowledge. Finally, the abundant ornament contrasts with Suhag. When represents what Leela actually desires, Shah Abdul Latif reverses the hierarchy of values Maniyu, Har, Singar, Galti, Judai, Aib, and concludes with Suhag. This is morally the story of a woman regarding a bad decision. It is a philosophical journey from external value to the inner value. And finally, we can say that this Beth dramatizes the transformation of desire into knowledge. Linguistically, Shah Latif moves from forceful verbs and material nouns towards first person confession and the effective vocabulary of longing. Philosophically, the necklace becomes an allegory of attachment. The object of Leela believes she possesses ultimately possesses her. Her admission, Aya Aibdar, marks the emergence of ethical self-consciousness, while Sikanthi Swagage converts separation into longing and longing into a possible path towards reconciliation. At the Sufi level, the movement from material attachment to the yearning for the beloved parallels the seeker's movement from worldly distraction towards spiritual awareness. Shah Abdul Latif, in this way, teaches how to move from one stage to the other stage because all of those stages affect the human behavior and one thinks about them. If one is stepping away from the first one stage, he can step up into second stage, then third stage, and that is evolution of thought. If he will be stationary and stuck up only in the at the one stage, then it will be exhaustion of the human thought and even intellectual stuff too. So thank you very much for watching me. Kindly share your feedback on these ideas of Shah Abdul Latif Bhittai. Thank you very much.